Hello everyone. I wanted to talk to you about what is now my survival story of COVID-19 or coronavirus. First of all, I want to talk about what the symptoms are really like. I know it's the same list as for the flu, but it is way different and so much worse. I also want to talk about the things that I did that helped get me through it and helped ease my symptoms. What you should know about me is that this, for me, was in January of this year, January 2020, before the test and before they were talking about it. Yes, I did go to the doctor, and his words to me were, it's like the flu, it's like pneumonia, but it's not. It's a virus, so it's going to have to run its course. Now, for me, I'm a very healthy person. Didn't have any upper respiratory anything prior, no asthma, no nothing, not even high blood pressure or anything like that. What happened is I woke up at 3 o'clock in the morning in a fight for my very life. And what I mean by that is I woke up violently to feeling like somebody was choking me at my throat and snatched me up out of the bed. It was so forceful, a cough, that it picked me up out of the bed. I slid down on the side of the bed by the floor. I was coughing so violently and so hard that I actually saw stars. That's how bad the very first symptom got me in the morning, very first thing. I went to the bathroom to see if there was anything. Of course, there was nothing that I could see, but my throat was already starting to hurt because I had just been what felt like was choked. I went to the kitchen, did myself a gargle with warm, salty water, didn't lay back down. I sat up because I was afraid to lay back down because I didn't want to be choked again and I didn't know what was choking me. Later on, more symptoms started to present. I started to get the chills. The chills are not anything that I would wish on anyone. It felt like my bone marrow was frozen and my bones had frost on them. Winter was being generated from inside of me. The only thing that helped, it wasn't the 5 layers, and I literally did have 5 layers on of clothing and blankets. It was a warm bath. I had to get in a warm bath and stay there until I warmed up. And I actually had the thought that I wonder if my body is going to cool this water off. That's how cold I felt with the chills with the coronavirus. It wasn't just that. The other symptoms that presented for me were the body aches. The body aches, I'm not even sure how to describe it because I've never had a broken bone, but I think that it may be something like that. And the pain for me was so great that I believe that's what made me weak and fatigued. I was weak and fatigued enough where there were times I was thinking about, okay, that's only 10 feet. This should not be a problem. Just go. But I didn't. I stayed in the bed. I stayed in the bed as much as I could because also I was lightheaded and I was bouncing off walls inside my own place. If I had known then what I know now, there were lots of other things that I could have done. But the lightheadedness makes you think you're going one direction, but you're really going a different direction, just a slightly different direction. And that's how you bounce off your own walls. If I had felt even an inkling better, I would have been laughing at myself for that because that would have been funny to me, of me bouncing off my own walls and I know where they are all day, every day, except for when you're lightheaded and lethargic from being sick with coronavirus. The other symptom that presented was cold sweats. I'd never had such a thing before in my life. And I was so confused because I couldn't understand why my body would want to cool off when I was freezing. So again, I got into the bath to try to warm up. That freezing, the only way I can describe it, it really felt like winter was being generated from inside my body. And I don't live in a cold climate. I live in Southern California. So this was not something that I was expecting. Not to mention, I told you all, I'm very healthy. I've always been healthy. I literally have not had the flu, a cold, anything in 12 years before this. And I know I'm not the only one, because there are other people that I've been talking to online who have had and said the same thing. Hadn't been sick in 10 years, 11 years, 12 years, and this came and knocked me out like I was just a cup of water being poured out. These symptoms, even though it's the same list as what the flu is, are so much worse when you experience it. So let me tell you what the things were that I did that helped me to abate the symptoms. One, the warm salty water gargle, that helped my throat. It was short-lived, so I had to do it more than once, but it did help. Drinking warm beverages, staying hydrated is really what it was all about, as we know now, because that was mucus that was choking me so badly like that. It is a thick, dry mucus that comes with this. So drinking warm beverages such as fresh lemon tea, and what I mean by that is actually taking a lemon, cutting it in half, squeezing it, making it into tea with a tablespoon of honey. Drinking that during the day also helped my throat feel better, helped me feel better. Vicks Vapor Rub. Vicks Vapor Rub is what I put on my throat, what I put on my chest to help me feel better. That mentholatum in there definitely helped. The other thing was echinacea. I took echinacea. As you can hear from the list of things that I did, most of them are home remedies or homeopathic remedies. That's what I'm used to. That's what works for me. I will continue to use those because that is what works for me. And I hope that these things will help you as well. The last item that I used was my grandmother's remedy that she called a hot toddy. It was actually my great-grandmother that she called a hot toddy, which was that lemon tea. Squeeze a whole lemon into a coffee cup or mug, put in a tablespoon of honey, fill it the rest of the way with water, heat it up like tea, then put in a shot of brandy. Drink that at night before you go to bed. That was part of the reason why I was sweating, to help get things out of my system. It also helped me to sleep. Didn't stop the cough, because that's not what it was for, but it helped get me through, because rest helps tremendously. At times, it's the only thing you can do because you don't have the energy, but those are the things. Hydration, warm beverages. Make sure there's plenty of vitamin C in those beverages. Echinacea, Vicks, Vapor Rub, wherever it happens to help for you. The other thing was the hot toddy that I had from my great-grandmother's recipe. Those things helped me. I hope that some of these things will help you. I wanted everyone to understand, if you have coronavirus or if you think you have, definitely please get to the doctor. This is nothing to play with. As a very healthy person that was attacked with this virus and felt like I was in a fight for my life, if I can help someone else with what I'm telling you here today, I am very happy about that. But please take heed to the warnings.